No, they got rid of the curtains. It's acquaintance. Remember, the curtains are gone.
Oh, the acoustic curtains.
Yeah, so now we sound like we are in a fishbowl.
Oh, I think, did the curtains retain coronavirus?
No, that was defunct.
Corona curtain. Oh,
Yeah,
I should say that. So, Eric, I don't know if I mentioned this, but Eric runs a coffee shop, and his daughter.
And I like coffee.
And they're good coffee. It's good coffee. So, as a way to entice you up there, there's some babka over there that
Ooh.
Eric's daughter makes.
That looks like something my mother would make, only half the size. My mom, who is still alive, is a Hungarian.
No thanks to Mark, by the way.
And she would make that, but it was this tall. It was unbelievable.
So
it would
that's
take her
for
a
you.
day.
That's for you.
Oh, thank
so
you.
if you
Oh,
like
wow.
it, you can
That's
drive
North
up
Shore.
with us. Drive up to the North Shore with us.
yeah.
I would drive for good. We'll drive for Babka.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll
okay.
drive for Bobcat. I like that.
It's very good, actually. The coffee is good. The bread is good. This won't be on a podcast.
Oh, this has been rolling for 2 hours.
Not that long. Hopefully I am recording.
Right.
I am. So this is podcast. We have not met in person. We met in
Well, we
person.
did. We did.
We
Didn't we
podcast.
do Karen from Canada?
Oh, no, we haven't done a live. Well, you and I have met in person,
Right.
but we haven't done a fully live podcast for
2 months.
2 months. Why do you say that?
Just because I wanted to pick a random date.
Okay. Oh, I know people who can do that. No, since February, probably January 2000. That's on now. Hello. We're gonna try. I'll try using Premiere Pro to make them integrate them, which will be impossible.
And I won't turn my cold shoulder to it. I forgot it was on.
Correct. Since probably January 2020, right?
No, that's not right. That is not.
Well, when did the
right.
pandemic start?
That would have been late February of 2020,
Yeah.
early March.
Yeah.
Was the shutdown?
By the way, this is the only meaningful thing that will occur during this entire podcast.
And this is end of May, mid-May,
Yes.
2021.
So we probably haven't done a live one for a long time. Oh, we might have done video ones before that, even.
That's right.
Video.
That's right. Yeah, we did a bunch via Zoom or Teams,
You're not being recorded, which is good.
which is good because
Always a good
I'm
thing.
not worth being recorded.
No.
Lifelong problem.
This is podcast 73, I think.
I thought it's more like 75.
Could be 100. We'll call it 100. You know, we'll do like lawyers number client files, so the opposing side can't tell which matter this is. Like, because there's always matter
Nobody
one.
cares what lawyers do.
So we'll put it up like this will be a podcast 1015.
Exactly.
Um,
Why don't you use like Roman numerals
Oh,
for our
no.
podcasts?
We could.
I think that would be much more or hex.
So we will hex.
Hexadecimal.
I was like X like what's his face's kid. The Tesla guy's kid.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a formula for something.
X10 or something.
No, it's like AX, AE. It's like a long, complicated algorithm.
This is our guest.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Mark.
It's Eric Modal, who is.
Are you
got great
are you
I'm not
penalizing
going
this
to.
early?
No, just introduce him.
Have you listened to any of these things?
No, not yet.
Oh, for crying out
Oh,
loud.
but
Do you know what you're in for?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
we have a quiz for him now.
All right.
Okay. Podcast 73. What is it in Roman numerals?
Well, do we have to have a C in there? Take away like
That'd be
3 X's
complicated.
and add a 2?
We need a 50 thing. So what are you gonna do?
XV, isn't it?
Oh, so instead of taking away 100
How
from
about
100, it's build up from 50?
Isn't it an L thing? Yeah.
An L, so an L, then depends on what side you put the X's on, right?
Yeah. If you're
He
gonna
brought
go
us
on
free cake, so
That's true. True.
he could say or do anything.
So Eric, what do you do?
You know people?
Yeah, he knows people.
Wow.
He knows people here. I don't know if the people are on the video. What do you do?
So what I do is cultivate community.
Well, that's a
Not
pile
one
of
of those.
baloney that I've never heard before.
That sounds like
Do
bullshit.
you? And what does one do with a community when one gets one? See, I'll
That's
start.
good, yeah. When you think about cultivate, what do you think? You think about, you gotta have something to build with, don't you, first?
I think, well, when I hear cultivate, I think 420 type people, or in your case, coffee bean type people.
Yeah,
But what is cultivate community? That's what we all do.
that's true. That's so true.
But how do you monetize it? There's the trick.
Oh. Good.
I'm sorry. What do you actually do?
So,
I mean, what would Mark think you did if you had?
What does the IRS think you do?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, the IRS thinks let's see, distribute coffee, I think.
Okay.
Distribute. Oh.
Yeah.
That's not how I
And bring
know.
coffee into the workplace.
That's a form of
And-
distribution. Okay.
You're a retailer though too. I mean, not
And
retailer. You're
most recently, this year, IRS would see that I am paying taxes on retail. So that would be,
You're selling stuff.
yeah, so I'm selling stuff.
And the stuff you sell is coffee.
Stuff I sell is coffee.
So wait a minute. So Mark doesn't know you at all, and I only barely know you. How were you you're an entrepreneur now, to be clear. But what did you do before you did coffee?
So
you seem to know people around this place, and this is the Cambridge Innovation Center. So you must
Right.
have done something.
yeah, so I worked for a distribution company before that for about 30 years. So that
What kind
gave
of
me,
like
it was
what?
coffee.
Who was it?
It was called Boston Bean Coffee Company.
Oh, they're
They're big.
big, yeah.
Okay.
And there were 7 people, and I helped grow it to many people after 30 years, and decided I would like to do something that would be more people-centered,
So were you,
but similar in its how it makes money.
were you a founder of said Boston Bean?
I was number 7
Oh.
buyer. Yeah.
So
Oh.
was that wholesale, retail, both?
Just business to business.
So just to the trade.
Correct.
So that would be sold to restaurants or
Small
venues,
to
cafes,
mostly offices.
mostly offices.
Work
By the way,
places.
just to be clear, I just turned on recording now. We had a whole episode that we forgot to record. We forgot to record.
Oh, that's all good.
Yeah, all good.
Mostly you.
Mostly.
That was the one I was not even there for.
Yeah, that was a
So I
great
forgot to
episode.
show up.
Yeah, so we had,
That's the only one I think I missed.
we redid the episode the next day over a bottle of vodka.
You tried to.
Without the guest.
Okay.
Without me.
Without Mark. Okay, so you were employee number 7 at a tremendously large coffee distributor, and they're still in business.
Mhm.
Sit closer to the mic because these mics stink. So why'd you leave?
I left
Am I
because
penalizing, by the way?
Very much so.
Okay.
I wanted
Just
to
checking.
do something
Penalizing is bad.
larger.
Penalizing is bad.
Yeah.
By the way,
What is penalizing?
had you listened to any of the
Oh.
podcasts, you would know how to answer that.
Yeah.
David has contrived this term,
Oh, what? No.
which refers to the way I sometimes have a conversation with one of our guests.
Oh, okay.
And because I host a lot of panels, I moderate panels, and David will say, "Mark, you're panelizing."
Penalizing means to act like a moderator, where you translate everything that's said so the audience can understand.
Or proceed it with a very
Long-winded.
long-winded, verbose preamble, and he doesn't like that. And he'll make that sound, and
Yeah.
since he's the editor, he can make
I
that
get it.
sound.
Right.
Got it.
Right.
So that's what panelizing
Okay,
is.
so I'll
Okay.
get back. So you were employee 7 with a tremendously large
Yeah,
bean distribution company,
correct.
and you
Yeah.
decided it could be done better.
Right.
And
So I helped bring Pete's Coffee to market with them,
No.
and I did
no,
cold brew to market with them,
No.
and helped hire people
hire people.
and
Wait a minute. What
grow
Oh.
so the sales,
those of us in the
products
know
to
want
market, all of that.
What did you have to do with Pete's Coffee?
So, Pete's Coffee, let's see. Before that, it was Allegro, which was a
No.
part of, it was at Whole Foods. So,
Yes, still is.
and then Whole Foods purchased them. They were
Allegro.
on Boulder, yeah. And so,
I drink pizza every morning. Major Dickinson's.
yeah, Major Dickinson. It was by Key Dickinson. He came in with Alfred Pete, and they put the blend together there in the Walnut Street Cafe. Yeah.
Interesting.
The original cafe, I'm
Yeah,
guessing, in like
right,
San
in
Francisco.
Berkeley.
Berkeley, okay.
Yeah, and I'm a long time, as you were, Coffee Connection guy.
Me too.
Way back
Oh,
when.
way
I
back,
started
yeah.
the Newton one, and they'd make me a blend of custom blend with
Yeah.
4 different things. After I tried all these different, this is not penalizing, by the way.
This is
But-
not. This is actually interesting. The only interesting thing you
But-
said this year, I think.
Well,
Keep going.
It's been a limited number
It's been
of
only a
exposures.
year.
This-
Yeah, true.
But yeah, so I kept saying I want something a little bit stronger. I don't like weird flavors. So they came up with this blend, and I used to come in with a card that would say I want quarter of this, quarter of that, quarter of this, quarter of that, and then they would hand it to me, and I'd have 4 stickers on the bag. I saw some of the old bags at home. It was great. It was great. I loved the coffee connection.
Yeah, me
Which
too.
for the 2 listeners, that, and this is a panelizing or a comment from the editor. Coffee Connection was purchased by Starbucks
Correct.
35 years ago or so.
92 or so.
92, so 30 years ago.
So wait a minute, let's go back to, let's get off your panelizing and learn
done.
more about how you brought Pete's to market.
Why not?
Sure. So, but it does stem from the Starbucks story a little bit, buying Coffee Connection, because Coffee Connection really is what inspired me in coffee, even though I grew up in Seattle area.
Oh, really?
Ironically.
Ironically, but I lived on Paul Revere Road in Lexington, and go down to Lexington Center and hang out at the Coffee Connection, and George Howell would be there.
Oh, I saw him the other day, by the way.
Oh,
He
yeah.
had his photo taken at the Godfrey Hotel.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, his little shop over there is pretty cool.
It is. It's
George Howell.
It's kind of quiet, though.
Is it?
It's a little quiet.
And for the same 2 listeners who haven't left, George Howell was the founder of the Coffee Connection.
Right.
And
Correct.
I guess they say he invented the Frappuccino.
He did not. He claims that he learned about it in California.
Oh,
And
that's where he's originally from.
He made it hot, but he admits it, so that's okay.
Oh, that's good.
I stole their money, but that's okay.
I took their money. I don't think he said stole.
He did.
They wrote him a big check with a big non-compete,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Like
so-
a 10-year non-compete.
which is pretty excessive.
So go back. This is a great story.
So yeah, so I love
okay,
coffee.
so you learn to like coffee. through
Yeah,
George
learn to
Howell.
like coffee, and because this kind of stems into what my mission of cultivating is. I think I learned to love coffee, and I learned to like hospitality during that time. So that was in Lexington, and probably the late
The
80s
80s.
or so, something in that realm. And yeah, 80s.
We
Yeah.
were around back then. So keep
And
I was a mere child.
going.
and
I knew, like,
my background is in music, so I
there we go.
Full stop. What do you mean?
well, I majored in music, I played clarinet.
Oh, you did.
And,
Where did you major in music?
Out west, Washington State.
I went to
University
Berkeley College of
Puget Sound.
Music, piano performance major.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it was a performance and education major.
Right.
So, yeah.
See, that's why I came to Berkeley. I started at Michigan
Oh, this
State.
is a great story, by the way.
I
Michigan
started at
State's
Michigan
awesome.
State, which is a great school.
Yeah.
I had a specific professor I was studying, and it'll take me a minute to remember his name now, but I had a specific guy that I was studying classical piano with.
Was
And-
it Beethoven?
No, but
It could
about
have been that age.
about that age.
You wanted Beethoven's
It
contemporary.
was classical.
And it was very, very classical. And about the 3rd semester, they come to you and they say, "So you're a piano performance major?" So you're going to teach high school band or choir or orchestra? I'm like, "What do you mean? I'm going to be one of the great artists." They're like, band, choir, orchestra. Around the same time, I was also volunteering for the student committee that put on
Wait for
jazz
it, wait for it.
concerts.
He knows his name.
And
name.
this guy came through. He had just released one of his early albums named Pat Metheny. And, I'm pulling cables, setting up microphones, so I introduced myself to him. And he said, "So what do you do here?" And I explained that and gave him the same story about, choir and whatever. He goes, "No, you don't want to do that. I teach over here at Berkeley College of Music, as does my brother Mike. Why don't you give him a call, tell him Pat sent you, and see if they'll audition you, and you might want to transfer there." Did that. I moved here January of 1979 to continue. So thank you, Pat Metheny.
Yeah, Pat Metheny. Yeah.
Wherever he is, I
Lyle
know where he
Mays.
is.
I saw a picture of him the other day. He seems alive and well.
Yeah, although Lyle Mays sadly passed away.
He did. I didn't know
His
that. What
pianist,
happened?
co-founder. He was ill.
Oh, happens.
So and Pat's got to be
Just-
69,
he
68,
looked-
70,
He looked
71.
pretty vibrant in this photo.
Oh, he's still touring. He's still active. He just came out
Good.
with something new. So,
So we can
fellow
tell
musician
them
that likes coffee.
Yeah, definitely.
Dave,
and I
you
think,
can leave now.
And I think coffee and music go well together.
I was
because-
playing bassoon
yeah.
before you guys even picked
Coffee
up
and
those
gin
instruments.
go very well. I mean,
So
music
tell
and
us,
gin go very well.
Bassoon, you're a bassoonist?
Yeah, I met my wife was going to school here. I had studied with a guy in Michigan who had been in the, you don't know bassoons, I saw. Do you know bassoons?
Artie Freeman was the principal bassoonist in Portland, and I played in a trio with her.
Do you
for
know
a
the
bit.
names of bassoon
And Adolf was her
husband?
teacher. So no, but
Do you know the names of bassoon makes?
Puchner.
Heckle.
Yeah, Heckle.
Heckle.
Yeah.
Well, the number 2 was Puchner, and so the guy I took lessons from, he was at Michigan, had left Detroit Symphony and was at Michigan, but he readapted the Puchner for American audiences. Now, I think what that meant was he improved the quality, so they became Cooper Puchners, and he was Cooper.
This sounds like a load of
No, he was great. He was
Cooper Puchner.
he looked like a classic bassoon player, you know,
Yeah.
sort of big jowls
Yeah.
and everything. Played quite well.
Would you say it was the Dizzy Gillespie of
No,
bassoon?
he was, no. Anyway, he was good. He was fine. So I studied with him, and then I met my wife, who had just studied at not Berkeley, but
New England.
NEC.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's how we met.
Yeah.
In octets, actually.
Oh, cool.
No octets.
Yeah,
So did you do any
People.
quintet work?
I did a lot of quintet
That was
work.
great, wasn't
yeah, yeah.
Those
Small.
were the days.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
way to do it.
did some.
We
Yeah.
just lost the other 2 people that were listening.
Yeah. Well,
Quintets
So this
and
is interesting.
octets and Roman numerals.
Okay, so
oh
tell
my.
so before you get there, so you were a performance major or education?
Yeah, performance
Okay.
and education. I did both.
Okay.
See, he took the direction they gave him.
But I didn't
unlike
want.
me.
I didn't want to teach, and my mother said, "Why don't you travel?" So that's how I got here. I traveled around the United States.
Looking for gigs?
I did pick up the clarinet and play it here and there,
Do you
but
still play?
I want to, but I haven't.
Yeah, it's time.
Years, yeah.
It's time.
But you lose your embouchure, don't
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Yeah, you can pick it up.
You can get it after a few
Pretty
weeks.
quickly, yeah.
That's what they say also with trumpet playing and trombone is that you lose.
Chops. You
Well,
lose
yeah,
your chops.
you lose your embouchure.
Embouchure, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're a musician. You come into town. You get a job with Boston Boston Bean.
Yeah, so I was in hospitality for a little bit.
Yeah.
Before that, I had a second cousin around, so he helped me get a job at the NCO club at Hanscom.
Hmm.
And then
You
what
got
happened
lots
after
of stuff
that?
at Hanscom?
It's an Air Force base.
Yeah, and hotels. He encouraged me to work in hotels.
Okay.
So I worked in a few hotels around, and then also worked in Sheraton Boston eventually.
Okay.
And
tell us what that is.
It's a hotel.
it's a flagship of the.
Because Sheraton is based here,
Yeah,
headquartered here.
they used to be based here, owned by ITT, and
Oh.
In fact, it's the same building that one of the finest law firms is headquartered in. Not
66th
yours.
What do you mean, my firm's
Yeah.
not there.
No, your firm's next door, actually.
In the better building. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah, and that same building I proposed to my wife too, by
Really?
the way.
She a
There used to be a
musician?
Bay Tower room up on top.
Yes. What did it used to be?
Oh, it's still.
It's gone.
I think it's
Oh,
gone,
okay.
or they've got a function space up there now.
Okay, so you're sort of meandering about, getting married, doing other things,
Drinking coffee,
drinking coffee.
Drinking coffee.
not playing clarinet.
And one of my
Not quite
students' teachers is how I got into the
Oh,
distribution.
you had
business.
students by this point.
Yeah,
So you were
I had
teaching.
students, and
What level were they? High
um,
school-ish.
Yeah.
Okay, this is in the late '80s.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, about 80.
Do you remember,
mid-eight-
the late 80s?
So
You could've
I
been
came
in
here
our
in
quintet?
'82.
Yeah.
Or 83. I left there,
Who's counting?
left Washington State in 82 and got here in 83.
Okay.
I wandered around the United States and Canada and got here. And then, and then
Yeah.
a couple of years in the hotel industry. So that would put it
Which
85. So it was Holiday Inn. It was the Sheraton out in Boxborough, then the Sheraton
Oh, that's right.
in Boston.
So you're learning all that. You're right. You're
The Sheraton Boston is huge. You talking about the one that's by
1,400 and some odd rooms.
the, yeah, by the Prue?
Yeah.
So what were you
And I
doing?
did many functions. I was wanting to be
Yeah.
pursuing to see if
So
I
you have
could
to do
manage
everything to become
Yeah.
a manager.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a tough lifestyle, though.
Yeah.
I'm friendly with a guy that's been a GM, Millennium, and now
Yeah.
I forget the name of the one that he's in now, but you have to live there practically.
No. Yeah.
I mean, it's like you're always on, and when a guest is mad if you're off, you're on.
Right.
So
So exactly similarly, why I left music and education probably.
this is
I said
even
the
worse.
hotel is not going to work
Yeah.
because I was maybe Monday and Tuesdays off or get a
Right.
free hotel room in New York City. But I think at the end of the day, I would like to be doing something
This
else.
was when empowerment was big,
Right.
and they empowered you to work even more.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, actually, empowerment worked well for some of the high-end hotels because the service.
Well, it's a
became great.
lifestyle if you like it.
Yeah, it's like
And the
living at
guys
Disney.
that work for like the Four Seasons and the
Yeah,
Ritz
exactly.
Right.
and all those large,
I think
Hyatt,
those- yes.
they do rotations in different cities. Their families can live wonderful lives, then they can get moved to some other city, and they spend a few years doing that.
And then there's Eric at the Sheraton. So
Well,
he decides it's time to move on.
When when you're sort of the GM or one of the top 5 in a hotel, it's a good lifestyle, but
Yeah.
it's a lot of hours.
So keep
A
going.
lot of hours, yep.
Let's go back.
And so the
what
student, my clarinet student,
Yep.
parent, suggested I meet up with the owner of this distribution company.
This new distribution company, Boston Bean.
Yep, and it was called Ryder Coffee at that point.
RY.
RY.
Oh, take off on the trucks they were using.
I think they didn't want to be confused. That's when they bought Boston Bean. They wanted to change it.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah, because they
so,
didn't like the name Ryder, so they
Yeah.
buy this and we'll
And,
take
and,
over
and,
that.
and it writes itself, Boston and Bean. Okay.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah. Baked beans.
yeah, baked
Yeah.
beans.
Boston baked beans.
Yeah.
Keep going. So keep going.
So I was a driver in that company, and I did all sorts
Did
of
you move up
things.
from driver to CEO? Are you a
Not
classic
quite
story?
that way. I went up to like sales manager and all of that, but
Okay.
not a
And how many years were you there?
30 years.
Holy shit.
Too many years.
Oh, we just lost our family friendly rating.
Well, you could edit it out. Holy schmoly.
Holy schmoly. Okay, so now what? So now you've quit this place and you say,
Right.
I need to sell beans.
Right, 2015,
Oh.
after bringing cold brew to Boston,
You never told, I'm sorry, I coughed. Wait a minute, we lost in here how you brought Pete's to, tell us more about Pete's and.
so that was in the 90s,
Okay,
and I was thinking we needed to have better coffee in the workplace. Coffee that I
oh,
would
I
enjoy.
know what you mean. When you brought them to the market, what you're saying is you found these small-ish or growing concerns and said they would be a great addition to our product line.
Right, but they
Because
weren't
they're-
willing to sell it until they came out and checked us out, and they saw that we handled coffee really well because I blended some coffees
Right.
like we talked earlier about that, Mark, and I ground up and I had it fresh ground in the workplace with grinders, and they
That's the only way
Wait a
to
minute,
drink
So,
Pete's,
yeah.
as I recall, Pete's first shop in town was across from 60 State Street. Am I correct or not correct? They had retail, definitely.
they had 5 stores. The first one was in Lexington. Second one was in Coolidge Corner.
Oh,
the
where-
third one-
Where was that?
next to the bookstore.
Oh, really?
The
Pete's?
third one was Harvard Square.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
fourth
Ah,
one
which is
was
still there.
Federal Street. Fifth
Okay.
one was Wellesley.
Which is the one that was under?
Wellesley just closed.
Oh.
Wellesley's closed. Yes, it's now a Chase Bank, and there are protesters there every day. Chase out of Wellesley or something.
But I think, isn't Chase offering Pete's coffee in the lobby?
No,
No,
that
that's
would be-
Capital
that's
One
Capital
does that.
One. Okay, so I didn't realize. So for a coffee shop, I thought Pete's came into town because they were retailing.
They came into
themselves.
town because of their Berkeley base and their mail order.
Oh, that's right. They're the ones
so-
that chose where to go based on where
Their
they're
mail
selling
order.
the most.
And so
Right.
they came, so they were looking to come here.
That's-
But before they did that, they were looking for distribution. And so it was a good marriage between us. And we were the first people outside of the Berkeley area to distribute Pete's Coffee.
Okay.
And that was based on the way that we handled coffee already, which was based on pursuing Allegro coffee and
Yeah.
having Allegro coffee and
Which
doing
is
our
not a
own
very
blended
good
coffee.
coffee, frankly.
At that time, it was a better. It was
It was
okay.
better.
It was a better house
Yeah,
brand.
I was okay with it. I got large bags and I could get it. I just did a mind blank. The guy that started it, but he's one of the big names in early coffee people.
So to become as a distributor, you buy, do you buy the big burlap sacks? No, that's for raw beans. That's the uncooked.
Yeah,
beans.
that's a different.
So
Yeah,
they come to you sealed how? Oh, with the big 5-pounders, a 10-pound bag, 5-pound bags, right?
yeah. So this,
On the backs of donkeys.
right,
Oh, is
right.
that true? With a guy with a sombrero.
So yeah, the Pete's coffee would come in already packed in little bags to brew. In the old days for brewing it in your Mr.
1-pound
Coffee
bags.
maker. Yeah, or even little packets. Yeah,
So
1
what
pound
did you-
bags.
So what did you do? How did you?
I got it in 1 pound bags
Okay,
because
so-
I liked it in fresh beans and organized it in a way that would be always fresh.
And why would they decide to go with a distributor in an area versus continuing mail order? This actually may be a useful question for the few people.
I have a more useful question.
Okay,
But
but let that one go. Keep going. Why would
Yeah.
somebody come to town, a retailer, who can do mail order, when they can just as well? Why would they come to you with a distributor if they can do mail order? What do you provide?
just think they saw an untapped sector
'Cause
of
you
the
have
business.
channels.
'Cause, yeah, channel of business.
And
yeah.
what kind of channels
It's
did
another
you guys
channel.
have?
This is a B2B channel they
Okay.
could pursue.
Well, and also if you're putting it in offices
Yeah.
where people are, they're going to go, holy crap, the coffee here is good. What is
Right,
that?
right.
Oh, I'll buy some for home.
Okay, so you
And that happened. I was in Xerox and also LG and
Yep.
and other L&G, or what's the name of that company that used to be Dictaphone, where you speak into things and
Dictaphone.
Dictaphone. And there's another MIT audience that would speak into the computers. And,
Learn out
Dragon.
and
LNA.
Dragon Systems.
Yeah, Dragon,
And-
which is now Nuance, which is now Microsoft.
And before that, Nuance bought. Yeah, but before that, it was at L&G. They are a
L&H.
Belgian company.
Oh,
L&H.
yes.
Learn out and how speak.
Yeah.
That's it. So
And
wait
so-
a minute. So let me understand something. So you, as a distributor, Boston Bean, you send salespeople out who convince companies that they're better off using a distributor for coffee, who will bring in machines occasionally and beans.
And better beans, right?
And what you say to them is, okay, then you'd say, what do you want for, holy smokes, it's like an animal up there. You would say, hey, what do you want for beans this time? Do you want your usual sort of crappy, low-level beans for your coffee drink, or we have a finer bean? So you're constantly trying to improve your offering.
Right.
So it's just like if a distributor who would go to a store and offer better beans or whatever for the shelves, you're offering to the companies better, worse, cheaper, whatever. You give them a right. So it behooves you as a distributor to have as wide a selection as possible.
And I always thought that as a differentiator. When you think of the 1960s and Bun Equipment coming out with a glass pot sitting on the burner plate,
We had that.
and then how do you go from that? And honestly, do we just make it bigger and throw it into a big urn,
Yeah.
and put the same coffee?
Right.
So my thinking was, do better coffee, grind it up fresh, and brew it fresh. So that's the optimal.
How
And
would
so
you
I was
do
doing
that?
that prior, and then Pete's recognized that we did that, so that's
Well,
why.
how did you, so would you go out to their shop and say, I got your fine pound of beans and can you set aside a room, I'll grind it for you?
Oftentimes it was because of trust. So, like for instance, Xerox up in Centennial Drive, he loved coffee, and I love coffee because growing up
And this was Mr. Xerox?
it was the head of Xerox. Yeah, so it was usually
No.
CEO material.
No,
that
they had
yeah,
a local office, it wasn't the head of Xerox.
not the head of Xerox, but of the division. I'm
Yeah.
not sure what division it was, but yeah, because Xerox would have been out in
Yeah,
in
somewhere
San
else.
Rochester,
Francisco.
New York.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
but
you'd bring coffee up to him and say, what would you like? I got this new stuff called Pete's or this new stuff called Allegro. And you'd pour him a cup?
right, Legro was short-lived, like we talked earlier.
Okay.
But yeah, when I
Who
brought
was
Pete's,
listening?
I had a lot more confidence, and I went in there because I knew it was fresh.
Oh, we gotta record this thing, shit.
And
It's the
and
third time you've done the dad joke.
and
That's right.
yeah, and
Could
then
be
I
worse.
would demonstrate it, and
Alright, 2
people
more to
loved
go.
it, and I loved it. So at that point in time, dark roast without being burnt, I liked the blend, like we
Pete's
talked
not
about
burnt?
earlier.
No, something dark roast that's south of Turkish coffee. You have to get used to for some
Right.
people. Some people like a really light. They
George
like
Howell.
they like filtered brown water. I wanted.
You should try George Howell.
I have tried it. I have no problem with it.
Right, it's very good.
I like it. I like a good robust bean like Major Dickinson's is a good
Oh, you,
commercial brand. It's not the most esoteric, but it works well for me.
you need to improve your. You need to up
I
your
need to
game.
improve
You need
every
to up your
aspect of my
game.
life.
Okay.
That's true
So
of
you-
every
So you
aspect.
bring these beans to them and they like it. So you bring that to this market.
Right.
You brought Allegro to the market, and then you said, I can bring coffee to market. I know how to sell
Yeah,
it, and so I should do this on my own.
Yep,
Then what
eventually,
happens?
yeah. So, within 6
Stop.
months.
Your Honor, he's leading the witness.
So yeah,
Well, I want to get one more useful tidbit out of this.
No, I have two useful tidbits I want to get.
Uh-oh. Here we
This is for me personally.
I get a-
This will not benefit anybody listening.
Oh.
Tidbit number one that I got from Coffee Connection was freeze your beans. So I buy them, make myself my brew of the day, and everything else goes in the freezer.
That is a debatable point, but let's see what Eric says about it. But next to, what's your other point for you?
I want to hear this answer before we go on.
Okay. What do you think about freezing
yeah,
beans?
I think Mark is right. It's better than the refrigerator because, and it also depends on if it's ground or not.
Oh God, no! I would never
If
grind
it's
it.
ground, it'll be like baking soda. Just take all the flavors and smells
No.
of the
So
refrigerator.
I get my beans,
Yeah.
my first batch, put it in a sealed thing, and goes in the freezer.
Yeah.
So you're saying that's good. Second, unrelated to the first.
By the way, quickly, George
I think-
Howells believes in that because I checked with him
Right.
last year.
Wow.
And I said, I'm buying the beans and I'm freezing them. I know it's controversial because remember, there was thinking in the 90s.
See, who knew that that would be a controversial question?
No, it is because they're thinking in the 90s that you would take it out of your fridge every morning, you open it up,
Yeah.
and all these molecules of moisture would attack your beans and mold them before you got it back in the freezer to kill them.
Interesting.
Do you agree that was the thinking back in the 90s?
Yeah, I think it was all about moisture and also putting it into your grinder and it be more brittle, which I do think is true.
Yeah.
It changes the dynamic.
Oh, it's always better when it's like,
fresh.
fresh.
And, yeah.
But this is
Yeah,
very,
we
very
can't do
close.
that.
Okay, second
Keep going.
question. What to do with the grounds? What I do is I pour them on a tree in front of my house.
Oh, come on.
I don't throw them out.
Do you hug the tree when you're
No,
done?
no, because same thing, Coffee Connection. I said, what do we do with this thing?
Who's
It's the
got
best.
time?
And the guy said, we put them out back. Is that good or bad?
So I'm going to say, I've got people for that. They're called the native garbage removal people.
Oh, well, they do. They will remove my garbage in my town too, in Wayland. But it's just that. Have you ever had a bag explode that had coffee grounds in it, like a hefty bag? I have.
Is that like, let me ask you this,
It's
is that like when you
awful.
have a warehouse, or rather a mill, that's full of sawdust and somebody lights a match and the place explodes?
No.
No.
It's somebody taking the sawdust out in a trash bag, and the trash bag has a hole in it, and you have sawdust
Oh,
everywhere.
I see. Yeah.
So it was literally a hole in the bag.
Oh.
My
Yeah.
wife and I have this essential conflict. She's like, "Don't put it out there." I said, "Well, where do you want me to put it? If I put it in the garbage, it'll go everywhere. If there's like no possible way. You don't want to put it down the garbage disposal. So, as an expert, as our coffee expert, bean disposal outdoors on a tree, plant, flower,
You do
whatever,
this every day?
every single day.
You gotta be kidding me.
Oh yeah, and they get mad at me in the
You
neighborhood.
seriously need a life.
It's part of my routine.
Oh my God. Okay. Do you
Good or bad?
Do you do
I
that?
think it's good.
It's good, but do you do
Yeah.
it?
Do I do it? I do.
You do? No.
I
No.
put it out back.
No.
Yeah.
It's like a mulch almost.
It can be a mulch. I don't know. And I did do it with the city
See?
of Boston.
I would feel bad, but I don't.
The city of Boston, I put, they had a Greenovate program. I did it
What?
with the mayor
What?
and also was the Cambridge Innovation Center at 50 Milk Street. So we would bring the grounds over
Yes.
from the pour over station at 50 Milk Street. For a year we did this.
Really?
And we put it, you can do it direct mulch. You can put it right in. It helps with the hydrating of the ground.
It
And it
helps
also
keep
brings
your-
nitrogen and potassium
Well,
to
it
it.
also keeps the trees away.
And I think it also
'Cause that's
keeps
when
the
they're
bugs
active.
down.
stocks.
I
Yeah, I
read.
think keeps the bugs down. So there is a certain amount. You don't want to like percentage-wise dominate, the soil with coffee.
I have an alternate theory.
But-
aren't trees active at night? I mean, don't they do all their stuff at night?
I don't know, but Your Honor, let the record show that of my two questions, I was right on both.
No.
I rest my case.
I will point out that trees are super active at night. I think this simply helps keep them awake, and that's
Yeah.
why it works.
I,
That's my theory. And
I
I learned
think-
that from Donald Trump and his
I'm
followers.
going to have your physics degree rescinded just based on that.
I think it's a work of genius.
I
Okay, so-
question that.
Okay, so you decide that you can do coffee. And then what happens? It's 2015. You can do coffee. What do you do?
So I guess I'm here at Cambridge Innovation Center, coming in
Why
here
are you here?
because
No, you're here today. We can see that.
yeah.
No,
like,
but why were you here? So what did that do with 2015? Why were you there?
Well, I had an account
was your point.
called. I got an account here throughout these bean to cup brewers, and so I had a relationship here at CIC already,
Ooh.
and they trusted me, and they knew who
so
I was.
you stopped back over and you said, "Hey, I'm the same guy you saw last week. I'm
Right.
starting a business."
Right.
And what they say?
They said,
Come on
Great.
board.
Okay, so then what did you do? Because you had no beans. Now you have a customer but no beans.
right. So
Now what?
I did events, and
But where'd you get your beans?
let's see, I secured relationships with different roasters. One of my roaster friends was Thomas Doyle, who helped start
Right.
Blue Bottle in
Who is
Oakland.
Thomas? Who did the sound?
Thomas Dolby.
Dolby. He's not,
But,
he's not
but Thomas
related.
Dolby
Not the
is a
same
distant
Dolby.
relative of Ray Dolby, who did the Dolby, the double D Dolby's noise reduction.
And these are that's right. And these-
Unrelated. There's those two are vaguely related, as I recall.
but not like they're not.
Blinded
like
Me with
related-
Science was the Thomas Dolby
And they were
song.
not related to Devo.
No,
Okay.
but
And they're
the-
not related I
The
did too.
Devo guy, Mark Mothersbaugh, does a lot of music for cartoons,
I
among
did.
other things.
Okay. They were-
Rugrats. He did the music for
okay.
Rugrats.
Okay, so you meet Thomas Dolby,
Yeah, Doyle. And
He's going to mispronounce it every time.
Dolby.
and
That's if you listen to any of these other 75
And we would
or
suggest,
83.
don't
you
bother.
just- yeah.
Don't bother. We don't.
Now
Yeah.
you're going to have to listen.
So
so
you know
Thomas
something
got to be a
Dolby.
good friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Is
we,
he your current roaster?
well, he
What's the story?
couldn't make it through the COVID. So when we opened up the coffee bar in 2020,
He jumped ahead, by the way.
he wasn't able to open it with me. So
Oh.
it's kind of a sad story. We put together this Bean Trust blend, and Bean Trust is the name that I took on.
That's the name of your coffee shop.
Yeah, and
Oh,
also the
and
name
yours
of
Bean,
the entity.
Bean
Trust.
Trust.
Bean Trust, like Brain Trust.
I like it.
Okay, so how did you
Is
decide
it
on Bean Trust? as a name?
beantrust.com.org.
Yeah,
I like it.
beantrust.com.
How'd you come up with it?
So came up with it here. I was thinking about what would be something quick and simple and subway test that people would remember. So that's why I came up with Bean Trust.
Well, it took us quite a while to remember it when we were driving up there, but okay. Okay, so you came up with Bean Trust, and you're
It's because you're aged.
so it's now 2015. You find a customer or two, you find a roaster or two, you start distributing beans. And where are you distributing them from?
Yeah, so 20,
Oh, we should record this.
15, started up Bean Trust Coffee Bar, or Bean Trust, Bean Trust,
Bean Trust
2015.
LLC.
Yeah, and November 7th of 2015. In 2016, it took me until April to have customers
No,
that kind of
really?
believed it. Yeah,
Really?
so it took me
So
6
you learned
months.
something from this podcast. Well,
I learned that everything I'm doing with my coffee is correct.
Oh.
Freezing it and then dumping the beans out on my tree in front.
I'm learning why you have so much time in your hands.
It takes less time to dump the beans out.
No, it doesn't. I just walk over to the garbage can and I dump them.
I just do the same thing with 3 extra steps. I go outside, I can visit nature,
You need to
I
learn.
can take in the day.
Have you told IBM you're doing this?
They drug tested me on that.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, but 2016 I had customers, but it took me a while to figure out what would be a good market
Took a
fit.
year to get a customer. Well, roughly.
6 months.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's the second S-bomb you have to drop
How
off.
long did? Oh, that's right. How long did it take AirPrint, your company, to get a customer?
It took me about a year
Okay.
because I had to have a product, which is a piece of hardware.
Right.
If I only had good patent counsel, I would have been. I would have been on the market sooner.
Had you paid your bills, we would have done some work for you.
Oh, that's
Okay.
right. You did plenty of work.
Okay, keep going. So
So,
you
yeah,
find a
so-
customer.
I grind my lawyers like my beans,
Oh.
and I dispose them out by the tree.
Oh.
So there are
He's so
people,
pleased with
I
that.
tried
very
things
pleased with
like
myself.
social impact. I was at Impact Hub,
Oh, yeah.
Boston, trying
Okay.
to do events and figure out how to cultivate
So by the way, when
community.
you do events as a
Yeah.
and you bill yourself as a what'd you call
He
yourself?
builds community,
No, I get that shit.
one cup at a
I got
time.
that crap. How did you bill yourself when you said, "Hey, I'm Eric. I would like to bring coffee beans to you. I will do the following for you." What did
Right.
you say?
So at first, it was trying it out, see what the value of what I did. And then as time went on, I was able to say $100 an hour. But it
That's great.
wasn't until,
no, 100 an hour. What are you talking about?
well, that would be my value on my time.
No. But when you shut up the door and said, "I can bring you some great beans," would you also say, "And I have some equipment, and I will service the equipment," or what? How did you work the equipment
Well,
piece into it?
maybe a real scenario would be good. So on
for the small
April,
people amongst us.
Greentown Labs came on board.
Yep.
And Greentown Labs was small, about 25 people or so, and they're at 28 Dane Street. And they believed after 6 months they kind of knew what I did, and I gave a
What
lot of
did
free
they think
events.
you did?
Brought in coffee. It was fresh coffee. It was good coffee.
Oh,
I
these were
demonstrated it.
events. You did events.
I did both. I was doing events, but demonstrating how I could be a distributor, and then also how I can do events. And I would do coffee tasting events. I would show off or help bring people together, as in their different companies that were in the incubator space, and they saw value in what I did.
I see. So to rewind this quickly, you start your business, you know there's a business that you want to do, and you show up at the doors of these various places and say, "Look, at a very minimum, allow me to bring you 25 pounds of great coffee a week." And if you-
Or some quantity.
It might be just
Whatever.
me demonstrating. So
Oh,
it was
So
just me demonstrating.
This is no different. first of all, I think that's a brilliant
Aren't
strategy.
these genius questions?
No,
Okay.
they never are though. They're like, you
But
know.
I'm trying to understand how you get a business off
No,
the
but this
ground.
is
He's
a great
pivoting.
idea.
He's like real-time pivoting.
He's selling a commodity in a specialized manner.
Exactly.
Coffee beans are a commodity.
No.
They're a commodity.
Well,
Now, I like coffee
Is that
a
true?
lot.
Is
It's
that actually true?
you could view them,
well, if
You
have
could
no
view him
taste
as a
buds,
commodity.
Okay.
you know.
To some people.
So what he's done is he's differentiated himself. The way, like, remember we've had events here.
Is beer a commodity?
It
Is
can be,
craft beer a commodity?
but yes.
Oh, come on.
But that's what he's doing. He's
Okay.
taking a common thing and making it a craft
I-
thing. Just like we have, I remember at one of my events here, one of the connected things, MIT Enterprise Forum.
Are you pitching? He's pitching.
I know I'm doing that to irritate you.
Oh.
We had like a local Scotch producer that did small.
Who?
I can't tell you the name because I don't remember.
Huh.
But they did.
Obviously, it was not a great event.
No, it was a great.
Oh.
It was a great Scotch.
Then
They
what
made-
was the name of the maker?
That's what I don't remember.
Oh.
But I could get it for you though. But
I
we
go to
had
this-
them come in and do a Scotch tasting with small batch, locally developed Scotch, and it was. I think their shtick was they did it quickly, but it tasted like it was made.
Oh,
for,
not that.
for 50
Have
years
you
or
had
something.
that? Do you drink
I
Scotch?
know. I think I know that Scotch.
The
Yeah, I
local
can't
here.
remember. Yeah,
No,
I know
no.
that. I've had that same thing.
Not
Yeah.
the chemical one out of California.
The quick. No, it's a local one.
Yeah,
No,
it-
it's
It's all
all
shaped in a bottle like this.
something like that. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly
yeah,
right.
I know
They
the
came
one.
and did an event for us.
It was an awful Scotch. I don't know that one. I had one out of California.
This was very local, so
Okay,
it's
so
not the same
I'm
one.
trying to understand the.
But that's what I'm trying to explain. What I think he's trying to
But-
say.
And let me give you another scenario quickly.
No,
Work
take your
with
time.
with Innovation
We
Norway
got nothing else to do.
to do a
This is our
biotech
lives.
conference. So you think 15,000 people coming to Nordic booth at a biotech conference?
Was this the one where all COVID came out of?
No,
Okay.
this is before it all came
Okay,
out.
I
But
see.
it's like, how do you draw people together over food or goodies and coffee? So it's just like I would bring goodies and coffee
I
and
see.
and connections.
I'm sorry.
And-
So you were what is the term you give to when you were in the hotel business? You were a
Hospitality.
hospitality person.
Right.
He was you're gonna hate this word.
Oh no, you can penalize.
No.
Oh.
He curated.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Yeah.
He's
I
a
agree.
coffee curator.
Okay, so I'm
curator.
still trying
And
to.
Sanofi would have the same thing. So I'd go over there and they would have an online in-person event and do coffee and set up like a little coffee bar
and
type
it's a
thing.
little bit more special. It's better than just throwing out Maxwell House and
Yeah,
giving people paper cups
it
filled
really
with
good.
brown water.
But a lot of it's the personal connecting.
So
It's
how
not
did you
drunk
make
on it.
the? So
I
I'm
love
still
it.
trying to get back to the
I
most
get it.
basic part of the first cold call. You show up, and let me make a very simple question. You call up CIC the first. Oh, that example you knew.
you call up
Name a cold call.
a
So
prospect.
I've called Tim Rowe. It was like waiting for a while,
He
so I
knew
called
you, he
Tim
knew you.
Rowe,
Okay.
and it transfers down. That was before he knew
Tim
me.
Rowe, do you want to panelize for a second for us?
No, you can't.
Okay. Tim Rowe owns.
Runs. I'm not sure.
I think he owns it.
I'm not sure if he owns it
Well,
or if the VC firm
Okay. The
owns
simplistic way for a guy like me is
Runs.
He runs Cambridge
He's the head
Innovation
dude.
Center. He's the head guy. Okay. So it's a cold call to Tim. You say,
So yeah,
Yeah, okay,
but
what do you say?
before that, it's the same story. It's
well, what do you say to him? I plan to do X for you. What is X?
No, it's referring back to, it's not a hard sale. It's like what I've already done. I took French
I'm-
press down to Venture Cafe when it was on the 4th floor years ago, and then
No, so let's take a cold call. I'm trying to understand that. So the one listener who may be left wants to know how you take that, make
let
that
me
first
let me
call.
let me imagine.
Oh, yeah,
This is-
yeah, you imagine
We,
this
we,
is good.
we never let our guests talk. I don't know why.
No.
It's
Yeah.
Well,
it's
actually,
superfluous.
I have done a lot of cold calls in my life.
Yeah, well,
so
how do they go? What do you say?
I just go in. It could be a buyer.
What do
I
you
just
say?
go
What
in
do you
and
say you do?
I've
No,
got
let's
no.
not-
I want
He's
to. I
on the
want to
verge
guess.
of an answer.
No, but we're not going to let him answer.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
He's
You're
going to
never
say,
watched enough of
I do coffee really differently, really
No.
well. I'd like to come in and demonstrate that for you.
No, but I want to hear an
And
answer
this
like,
can manifest itself
I'm
in
a
many ways.
coffee guy. I can deliver
All right,
coffee.
now let's
to
hear
you.
what he really
I
does.
can deliver coffee to you, or I can do events. What do you say?
I guess I would wing it a bit. I'd say, David, it's really great to see you.
Yeah.
You know, how are you doing,
That's
David?
debatable. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
a good guy.
Okay.
I appreciate how, you've
Listen
You've
to
done
this.
caffeinated you are.
Okay.
And then I would say,
You're not saying, my
have-
time's valuable. Get to the point.
yeah, and I think good communication is important.
Okay. So
And
what
I
would
do
you
think
say?
I
What
would
do you
love to
do?
bring some coffee in sometime for you to try it.
Do you like coffee?
So then
Yeah,
I say,
I like
yeah,
coffee.
if you like coffee.
No, so I say to you, I can get coffee anywhere. What is it you propose to do for me? You're going to bring coffee in. What would you like to do if we had an opening here? What would you say?
I'd probably try to understand your context and see if there's a need and see if you are driven that way. Because if I'm talking to somebody that doesn't have a want, so the old language of want
So
is a very need.
Qualifying questions would be: do you host large events or have clients? Do you want to treat them a little bit better than most? I think you'd ask like a series of qualifying questions. Oh, how many people work at this firm? Okay, how many of them drink coffee?
What's
do you
your
think?
elevator pitch? What was your elevator
You
pitch?
heard it at the beginning. He builds community.
No, that's bullshit. Nobody believes that.
That's the fourth one.
I think what you say to them is, I'm a coffee guy. I do everything from distribution of high-end coffee.
No, I got coffee. I like the milk commercial.
I do everything from coffee distribution to coffee events that bring people together. Is that what you effectively now say to get in the door? It's like, oh, how intriguing.
So the head of Angle, Angle is a guy that started up robotics, iRobot, and he has a center of entrepreneurship, and so I do background work. I think it's silly for me to show up without knowing the person.
So it depends on who
And
you're
the context.
Keep going. This is great.
But I think if it's something that would be a good mutual benefit, then I feel good about it. If I'm selling a commodity, and then I'm just selling, I'm a noisy gong.
Okay,
Yeah.
so can you tell us more about that particular contact?
Yeah.
So what did you say? What did you say the first call?
So the first
And
call.
why did he even take your call?
Well, I talked to somebody else to get that call with him,
Yeah.
and that somebody else knows what I do and sees
So,
the
for
old
example,
world.
you might have talked to Tim Rowe and say, Tim, can you put in a word with your good friend? He says, yeah, I'll put a word.
For the Tim Rowe, yeah, because Tim Rowe didn't directly answer, but he said within the next day, he pushed to somebody else, get a call with this guy.
Okay.
Because we got a need here.
So you
And
get
this
an
guy can
intro.
do it. He had enough confidence in what I said.
Okay. So you got an intro to the head of
And that
this
happened the
iRobot.
same thing.
So what happens with the
With this.
iRobot guy? So the iRobot says, I'm the CEO of a company. You sell coffee. We're not in that business, but I will talk to you.
Or he
Then what
pushes it down to somebody that
head
will.
of HR.
Yeah,
Okay. Head of caffeine. And what do they say to you?
Caffeine.
yeah. They say they want to respond to what is best for the culture.
Right.
And they want to respond to, they want to please the boss, and they want to make sure that they love and if the boss is like wanting to empower them, and they'll sit down with me.
Here's the
I have
beauty
a
of
random
here's the
thought.
beauty. You generally do. Here's the beauty of coffee.
Do you think they ferment coffee? He's talking about culturing coffee.
That's a really weird.
Do they
You
ferment
could,
coffee?
that's called Irish coffee.
It is not.
So-
do they ferment coffee?
I don't know. That's
should do
interesting.
You should do that.
I don't know what the benefit is.
Be fermented coffee. It'd be like kombucha, but it would be coffee buka.
It sounds
Right.
terrible.
It could be very good.
The
You ever had
benefit,
kombucha?
yes,
Okay.
the benefit of what he's doing. This is not a panelizing.
Oh, you're panelizing.
No, I'm thinking.
Is that
is
possible?
it is.
Have you
So
told your employer you're capable of that?
their motto is think, literally.
I mean, you're the counterexample.
So the beauty of this versus like coming in and doing wine tastings is everybody will drink coffee, and with wine tastings or beer, you don't generally bring that in during the day to a place of employment.
You do.
No, I don't, and you don't have the liability issues.
Right.
Like we had. Remember, we had this even hosting events at your old
I'm
space.
laughing at my joke.
I know.
Give me a
It's
moment.
these are like all what the kids would call dad.
Savoring.
There's nothing
Savoring.
savory.
Yeah.
No, it's just really
Okay,
bad.
sorry. What
I'm
were
going
you
to cut
trying-
off your microphone.
I'm sorry. What were you saying? I was not listening.
As usual. I was saying there's a benefit to coming in with his message versus coming in
No, it's a
saying,
great idea.
I've got here's the greatest scotch or the greatest wine or craft beer when you're calling on employment and places of employment.
I got an idea.
Have you thought about expanding into the sort of like I can cover your daytime with coffee and the evenings with liquor?
Thought about that. I mean, there's been a blend of that sometimes. Like for
No pun intended.
TEDx events, I'll do like cold brew. Like over at Google, I would bring in cold brew, and then they liked me to be there. Again, I'm the brand a little bit of how it happened because I would bring the cold brew in, welcome people. They would hear the talks, and then I'd pour French press like a salon event where there might be 100
This is
people,
totally cool.
and
Yeah,
pour
it's
French
cool.
presses out over
We should
on
change businesses. This
We
would
should
be
just
fun.
we should just bring them into our
And so-
businesses.
Yeah,
you could do that.
and then then it's a blend of the two. It's
Have
a
you
blend
ever
of
been
the
to
alcohol.
Pavement?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever tried? I just rediscovered it. My introduction to Pavement was super unpleasant, and you'll recall why.
I know why.
Okay. We were working with a
A company near Berkeley College.
company, yes, and
Yeah.
there was a person who was less than pleasant who ran the meetings. So in any event, my introduction to Pavement was through the not so nice store near Berkeley, and it was late in the day, so you couldn't drink coffee. But I've now been to the headquarters on the Brighton Ave. And they
Oh,
have-
really?
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
This is the coolest thing. They have is it a ginger ale with not jalapeno? It's a spicy ginger ale, which I haven't tried, and they pour a layer of espresso on top of it.
Oh.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Sounds like
scouting.
carbonated espresso.
Yeah, I've
Oh,
tried
it
that a
sounds
few
really-
times,
Really?
but I haven't.
No, this
It
sounds
does-
really
it
cool.
doesn't sound good at all to me.
No. This is. I think it's.
But
like,
I'm a
yeah.
purist though. I like I don't even put cream in coffee because why bother?
It's not paprika. It's like it's
Ginger,
definitely.
hibiscus.
No, it's ginger ale, and they've
Cilantro?
spiked it with something like hotter than paprika, but it's in that realm. Okay, I'll try it. Maybe tomorrow I'll try it. The thing is it could make for a rough day, so you got to be careful on your timing. Okay, so
I hear it burns your colon.
No bueno.
No bueno.
okay, so let's go back. So it's now you've made some pitches. It's 6 months in. You've gotten some customers,
Right.
and you're doing you're like the guy with all the band instruments, like in Sergeant Pepper's or something. You got the cymbals on your fingers. You got the bass drum. You can do, and you're all things coffee.
Right.
And you have built a business around this.
And keeping low overhead.
Did you like that analogy?
And,
What
and
was
a
the
couple
metaphor?
accounts at a time. So it was small potatoes at the beginning,
Yep.
maybe 50 grand.
Small coffee beans.
Yeah.
Good.
And then, but grew it to about, and after 4 or 5 years, about, 400, 500,000,
That's awesome.
That's good money.
and about 80 accounts. And
So this
solid
is called
business.
Failure, the podcast.
Yeah,
It doesn't sound like you're a failure.
We brought this guy in.
You did.
We failed. We failed
A
again.
failed at failure.
Yeah. Okay.
But
so-
then it
so now-
dropped off March 13th, of course,
Yeah.
and
COVID.
and
So
then
what does one do during COVID in the hospitality
you sell
coffee concierge
you
business?
sell your coffee online,
Okay.
right?
How'd that work?
Many other people did. It worked okay. I'm not wanting to compete with Amazon. I want to be this super local.
Who's Amazon?
It's a large company that sells online.
Okay. Keep going.
And so, wanted to,
I got marked.
but I did buy the
Stupidest
building
question.
on March 3rd where
That
I
is
am
a
now.
great building.
And,
Wow.
It's
and
great. You got to come up there.
I'm
It
more
is
than willing
great
to.
coffee, and I got to say, it's great coffee.
What town is it in?
Even
Beverly?
more- Beverly. But even more important than the great coffee, I hate to say this, is the great bread.
oh yeah,
It
excellent
is
bread.
great bread.
Oh,
You
thanks.
got to
Dave.
try this. It's great bread.
Coffee and
And
bread.
that's just an example of it at the end of the table.
So you have your own bakery, or you bake
My
those?
daughter has Bonnie Breads,
Bonnie
and it's
Breads.
like 2 in 1. So
Wow.
Bean Trust Coffee Bar, and it's also home of Bonnie Breads.
That's where
So
you,
I
that's
learned-
how you keep your eyes on your kids. I like it.
I learned about it here.
It's a smart
at
strategy.
CIC. There was a sign, so we tried it a few weeks, worked out well. And
That's
then,
that's the story. Okay.
then we started driving up there. It's on a wide thoroughfare, not highly like Washington on Ann Arbor, but
Yeah,
not that
I know,
highly
I know,
traveled,
that's
but that wide. And
Beverly's
not
a great
that
little town.
yeah.
Are you far from the water?
No, you can see people with wet hair walking by a shop, and it's just fantastic coffee. You got to come up there. It's good. It's
I'll take a weekend drive with you.
yeah, it's very good. It's good. I was thinking we were going to invite ourselves to do our next podcast up there, but Eric was smart enough to say something generic like, "Oh, cough! I think I got an itch" or something.
I'll
He
copy
changed
you.
the topic. Smart move. So no, excellent coffee shop. So how's
Yeah.
that worked out?
It's worked out really well.
And has it gone well with your distribution, or is it a complete pain in the butt? It's not
No,
like having
it's
two jobs.
it's my son is doing the distribution, and he's doing okay.
Keep
Today
your eye
I
on your kids. I like it. It's
was
very
able
smart.
to go in and fix a kegerator. So I was over at
Kegerators.
Cambridge Mobile Telematics and fixed the nitrogen and
You have one of those
cleaned
in
out.
your office, don't you?
I've got one, and I've got a portable one that I carry around with me in my briefcase. The hell's a kegerator?
Kegerator?
Yeah, with a spigot. And,
But no, to be clear, the kegerator is for cold brew. It's not for beer. Right?
correct.
You didn't know that. See, your mind is in the gutter.
I don't drink beer.
Your mind is in the gutter. Okay, so you've got these two businesses. Do you actually do all of your the retail business doesn't have room for storage at all, from what I can see. So these are really two businesses.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And but we keep it small. It's always fresh coffee and
Very good coffee.
Yep.
Did I mention that?
Look,
Where did your daughter learn to bake?
She started Anj Bakery,
What's that?
and it's a little artisanal bakery in Salem.
Do you know of that?
No, but I never go north of
You
Route
like that?
93 off 128
With your kegerator.
without my passport.
Keep
And
going.
then I think she did a little sage,
Is this
which means
podcast
working.
worse than you thought?
I wasn't. Did my expectations
Or
are
low? Appropriately. Okay.
He's thinking, and I paid for parking. Damn it.
Okay, so wait a minute. So she learned it on the job.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yep. And then she also went to a couple of artisanal bakers and learned how they did things.
And what sort of equipment? I don't know the details, but what sort of
An
equipment
oven.
do you have? Yeah, I mean, it must be a huge oven or not even that kind of. Not that
And a
kind?
mixing bowl.
Small.
Oh, the big the Hobart mixer.
Yep. That type of mixer. But then you also there are
Are you impressed, Hobart?
Rofco, I think is the name of the little Belgian waffle
Better.
ovens.
So she
Yeah.
bakes what?
Ah.
Breads only?
Breads and
Babka.
Babka? Well, it's
Yeah.
a bread.
Yeah.
and she also
Really?
does some pastries
Nice
for
pastries.
goodies.
What
Yeah.
kinds of pastries?
Really wonderful
Sticky
galette
buns. Sticky buns.
and yeah,
My
sticky
favorite
bun
sticky buns.
Do you like sticky buns, Dave?
Well, hold on.
and cardamom buns.
She has changed the recipe or the baking on the sticky buns in the say 2 months I've been there. Am I correct?
I'm not sure. You
They're a little
probably yeah.
I've eaten more of them. I don't. Yeah. Anyway. keep going. So they're nice
Interesting.
pastries and really good.
I like, there's nothing better than a good bakery.
What is
Really.
that thing? It's a lemon shortbread with lavender or something. Remember that one?
Oh
It's got
yeah,
The pink end of it.
the shortbread.
Shortbread.
Yeah, and she has done with lavender. She's also done it with Earl Grey in it,
Ah,
and just
yes.
regular straight shortbread.
Does this give you a sense of it? It's a small. When you walk in, you've got
It's like
Eric
two
sort of
doors.
dominating the counter with his
Yeah.
with his drip, his pour overs. No, I'm kidding. But the pour overs is a bunch of breads behind it, and his daughter and must be her team are working behind there. So Eric's kind of hanging out with customers, being his community guy, and they're like busy as bees behind him working,
Making food.
making good food.
Now, do you
I-
serve other things in bakery items? Like, can I
So-
go there and have a sandwich?
Yeah, working with a friend of mine, Gina, trying to partner making some farm to like table salads.
Oh, wow.
Really
They look
good fresh
They
salads.
actually look very good. They
Huh.
got the. I can tell because I've been there. The little cups
This is
of
the
salad.
part where we don't let the guests talk anymore.
No, remember like the airport, but much better. Actually, you ever been to the airport where they have a vending machine that has the salads in the cups? Ever done that?
Yeah, but
Portland, right?
I wouldn't touch it.
Anyway, this is the real version of that.
Okay,
So it
so
looks
there's
quite
salads in the cup.
And
Yeah.
yogurts, yogurts and some sodas.
We've done some different things. We've done yogurts. We've done some small little components to make sandwiches with and
Wow.
things
I
like
can
that.
see that.
Yeah.
Very good.
I like
we'll
a
drive
good
up there.
sandwich. Yeah, I like that. Vegetarian sandwiches?
So we don't make them on spot. So we can have hummus and
Hummus
we
is
put it on the
beautiful.
bread and maybe cucumbers or something.
Have I mentioned there's a hummus amongst us?
It's a fungus among us.
Keep going.
So yeah.
Or
there's
cut
been-
your losses, whichever way.
We have done
At a certain
sandwiches.
point,
Starter.
you might say, oh, the parking is going to click over soon.
We have done
We should
like an
record
event
this.
with trustees of reservation, afternoon tea, and so that we do the cookies for that and scones.
Oh, I saw photos of that. It was quite impressive. It looked like a nice lawn full of people, and Eric was doing his tea thing, and there was a great plate of food there.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Quite a spread.
And
as
we
they
made
say.
sandwiches
Quite
for
a
it.
spread.
So yeah.
So
Yeah.
I like this. Here's what I've learned. He builds community. Wait a minute, that's what he said.
Oh my God.
No, this sounds cool.
That's
So
like your dad
I'm
joke.
less skeptical. Thank you. I'm less skeptical. Initially, when he said, "Why? What do you do? Why build community?" That's like
That was just to throw you, because he knew at CIC you'd appreciate that.
wow. So very cool.
No, it
I'm
sounds
in.
like a great business.
No, it does. Is it a lifestyle business? Is it
Oh,
scalable?
you know.
Can you create other
He doesn't
Erics?
want to. He's been there.
No, I think you could create
So-
other Erics.
I'm in the midst of it. Used to have my brand as a photo of myself.
Quick, Mark, what's the name of this company? Don't answer.
Beantown.
See,
Bean
I was-
Trust.
We were in the same struggle on our way.
Bean Trust. I got it in the
He
second
did
try.
not come here for criticism.
And so
Give it
I
to him.
changed it from my picture, which might be helpful, to a bean. And then the word trust is down. So you got your bean
Trust.
and you got your bean trust.
Have
So-
you considered getting the British actor, Mr. Bean? Sorry.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, that would be good.
Maybe we can invite him here.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Mr. Bean movies?
Oh, yeah. They're fun.
Yeah.
He's
They're
kind of
actually
like
He's
Inspector Clouseau, but a
Oh,
little
so-
bit.
He's
Yeah.
like an adult, what's his face? Who's the guy who's the pervert? I'm sorry, wasn't he? Who was the guy?
Who's the pervert? How the hell would I know? What
Who
kind of
was
shit
the
do you
actor?
think I watch?
Who was the actor who looks just like
Mr. Bean?
Mr. Bean? But he apparently did kids stuff, and they arrested him in the back of a movie theater.
Yeah,
He's got a
Pee Wee
weird
Herman.
name, Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah,
Right. So doesn't Mr.
Paul
Bean
Rubens.
Doesn't
That's his real
Mr.
name.
Bean look like Pee Wee Herman?
In that they're slender guys with dark hair.
Okay, we got half the population. Okay. Eric was trying to make a point, and you
Yes,
interrupted.
that's what we're here to do.
Oh, maybe you were trying to make a point.
And you interrupted.
Oh, there we go. So I think we've
Have you
covered
ever seen the listen to the radio program Car Talk?
Oh no.
That's what we thought we were going to try and do with this whole podcast thing.
Oh, we failed.
We failed miserably.
So, but it is time for you to say your favorite.
Having wasted a
Perfectly good hour.
perfectly good hour. This is NPR? No.
They might sue us.
Oh God, we'd never make it.
I think we have wasted an hour.
We have wasted exactly a little more than an hour.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I didn't start recording till I was a little late. It would have been an hour if I started
So
recording on time.
I will come up, maybe with him,
Yeah.
maybe quietly. You just won't tell him. I appreciate the babka donation.
It's very good.
I like what you're doing. I think it looks and sounds really cool. I may need to validate this a few hundred times by tasting
it's
it.
very good. It's tasty. Yeah, no, appreciate it. Much appreciated. This is,
And it's great to meet a fellow performance major
Mhm.
that also understood that being a teacher is a great thing, but it's not for
Will
everyone.
you penalize me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for
You
inviting me.
survived.
By the way, we may be able to publish this one within the next, what do you think, 3
Eon.
years? 3 years? It'd take about 3 years to publish.
Yeah, hopefully his business will still be open.
Well, we're so busy, we got so many of these backed up now.
I think you still have one backed up.
That's the podcast we will not mention. We'll tell you about that one a little later.
Thank you.
Thank you.